I have a startup business here in California called Executopia. Never realized I really had a passion for it, but it's kind of how my career came. So I've done a lot of work with executive teams and individuals and whole companies looking at their values and their behaviors and qualities they want for the company around leadership. And it's interesting when we think about reinventing yourself, because really with the new wave of technology, I mean, I don't know how many of you like me remember when we used to have one phone on the wall that you dialed like that. Yeah, it's really changed, hasn't it? But, you know, for those of us who kind of grew up maybe, 50s, 60s, 70s, we've had a massive change to adjust to with technology, where people coming up now, they don't have to adapt so much because they're used to it. Companies went through a very similar thing in leadership, where most companies kind of did what they always did. People stayed in a company for 30, 40 years and then retired. And all of a sudden, expectations of workers started to change, particularly in the 60s. Started to think for themselves and decide that actually I don't want to do it this way anymore. I might want to try something that feels right for me, and I'm not just going to do what everyone did before me. So companies had to start adjusting, and what they started to do in leadership was look at a more transformational leadership style, which was really the companies who could adapt and change are the ones that survived. The ones that were die hard, we're not changing anything, we've always done it this way, really they don't exist anymore. And so nowadays, in this age that we're living in, it's just increasingly, the need to adapt, not only professionally and in your business, but personally too. We're having to adapt all the time to the changes that are coming. Thinking about reinventing yourself, for me, really, it's about just becoming the you want to be now. Now. And where is that coming from? And as a coach, if I was to be working with all of you, these are some of the things that I would be thinking about. So I thought it could be an extraordinary confidence and command, and she's got it all together, and I'm sitting with her in her office and she's coming up to retirement, which is often when people start looking at reinventing themselves. This is that time of change that I'm kind of choosing it. I've been looking forward to it, and now she's sitting in the office with me totally paralyzed with fear. She's one of these inspirational women, but she's sitting there paralyzed with fear. So when we started talking about, okay, so what is it that's really, well, what if nobody, wants me? What if I can't do it? What if, all the what if? I'm starting over completely to be this executive coach that I want to be. And when we started to explore it, it was like, well, actually, you're changing your role, but you're taking all of that experience with you. You're not over. At our age, we're not starting over. We're taking all of that with us, all the experience, all the trials we've been through, all the difficulties we've been through, all the great times. We're bringing all that with us. So sometimes in our mind, we feel like I'm starting over, but really we're just moving on. We're just moving forward, and we're bringing all that with us. In the middle, we've got achievement, and then off of that, we've got different branches. All the areas in your life, from your education, from sports, from family. Maybe you are the best daughter ever, but you never think of that as an achievement. But you've always been there for, maybe you're a great sibling, a great mom, a great sister, whatever. But sometimes we don't take those things as achievements. We think, oh, well, that's just part of me. So I do something with people that either takes them through a timeline and looks at every area of your life. Where have you achieved? What are you really proud of? And we just scope that out. And then we look at all the qualities and behaviors and skills that have come out of that. You're bringing all that with you. You're bringing that with you. Like the mother who maybe is going into work for the first time in years and thinks, I don't have any skills. I don't have anything to offer. Well, you're a manager. You're a communications coach. You're a negotiator. You've got all these sort of organizational skills. Being a parent is probably one of the greatest leadership roles ever. So trying to get people to appreciate what do you already bring in and really see it. Because I think a lot of times, particularly things that come easy to us and natural to us, we don't consider an achievement. We think, oh, well, that's just me, that comes natural. We only think if we work really hard and put a lot of education, the things that come naturally are the qualities and the things we want to build on. They're still gifts and they're still achievements. You've had to use them. Okay, so that. The other thing that I'd be looking at is what's driving it. So what's driving your sense that you need to reinvent yourself? Is this something that, well, business is slow, so now I want to change what's happening to get more business? Is it that I really have recognized internally I'm really just not happy anymore? I've lost my vision, I've lost my inspiration, my enthusiasm. I'm now just doing it for the money and it's not satisfying me, or there is no money coming in. There's something driving that need to really start to do an overhaul, and it may not be even in your business. It could just be as an individual. I mean, I've had times where I just start, the health thing. I mean, this morning I put this dress on. I hope that this button doesn't pop and take somebody's eye out. I was like, I got it this morning and I thought, I can't believe this time last year this dress is really loose. And I put it on and I was like, oh my goodness, time to reinvent yourself. Time to get healthy and network with some people who can help you do that. But we have something that drives that need sometimes. We become aware. Sometimes change just happens, and sometimes we become aware. There's something needs to change. I'm not feeling as fulfilled, or people aren't responding to me the way that I anticipated in my business, so there's something driving it. So I'd want to look at what's really the driver here, and make sure that the driver is something that is healthy and it's good for you. It's not someone putting the should on you. You should be doing more of this, or you should be like them, or comparing yourself to it. I think it's very dangerous to start thinking that if I just become more like them, they're successful, I'll do what they do. They're successful, I'll do what they do. Well, it's got to be something that's part of you and part of something that you really want to do, not that you should do. So the other thing that I would like to say on that is really being true to yourself is really the most important thing. And sometimes it's hard to be true to yourself because you've lost track of yourself, if that makes sense. Like Sharon said, the most important thing is that we kind of keep ourselves in the midst of all of this stuff that's going on, that we take care of us, but also that we know us, and that we come back to the base of what am I really about, so that whatever I'm trying to do, whether it's in business or whether it's getting a job, that I know it fits with my core values about what are the things that they have to be there for me to be happy in this job. They have to be. It may be that you love being around people. I've got to have people around. I don't want to work at home on my own. Or I need some time on my own. I need some time with people. Or it could be I need to sell the product. I love selling. Whatever it is for you. But you've got to know what matters to you. And sometimes we lose track of that a bit. And I've got an activity that we can do just to, and I think everyone really once a year, it's a good activity to do and take stock again. Because as life changes, our values change a bit. What I valued in my 20s is very different than what I value in my 40s. Health being one of those things. I value that a lot more now than I did then. So, we change as we get older. So a good thing to do, and if I was coaching, one of the first things I do with people I coach is take them through a core values activity so we know what you're about. Because there's no point in us trying to set goals or get you going somewhere that in the end, you're not going to be happy there. You might like it for a season, but you're going to end up getting stressed because it's not lining up with your goals. So that's really where I feel like when she said about reinventing yourself and thinking, that's the first thing that popped up into my mind. You've got to know who you are first, because we're still us. You can be a different side of you. You might want to show a different side of you, but you're still you. And knowing yourself has got to be the beginning point, and really knowing what it is that you want. And sometimes it sounds easy, but sometimes it's difficult because we have a lot of other information coming our way about maybe what we should or shouldn't be doing.